Hi YouTubers, littleowlthrifter here. So I'm going to be making a dish that I make very often. It includes green peppers, sweet onions, Italian sausage, and you could use this mixture to make sandwiches, or you could just eat it um, on a plate. And I added some sauce. Sometimes I don't add any at all. So I'm going to bring the camera down here so you could see what I'm doing. Now, I get my veggies at a produce stand. I find that they're more affordable than if you go to a supermarket. So I got green peppers, and then I got sweet onions, which I love. So anytime I'm making my peppers and sausage, and I use sweet Italian sausage, I always use sweet onions. So what you're going to do is get, I already washed my peppers. You're going to get about 4 peppers, and you're just going to cut them up, and you're going to take out the seeds and get them all cut up, clean them all out. And I love using this cutting board. My girlfriend got it for me a couple years ago. It's by Coro, I believe. And my nice knife I got from my mom. It's Faberware. So now I use green peppers. They're cheaper, and they're the least ripe and bitter in taste more than the red and yellow are sweeter. Red and yellow peppers are a little more costly. I'm just going to throw it all in. So you're just going to cut strips because they're going to cook down. And so I get all my peppers cut up, and get all these seeds out. And I will come back when they're all cut. Okay, so I finished cutting all the peppers up in the bowl. Again, they're going to cook down, so you just want to cut them into strips. And now I'm going to move on to my sweet onions, or Vidalia onions. Historically grown in Vidalia, Georgia. These are great in this recipe, especially on a hamburger. The sugar content is like comparable to that of an apple. But I love these onions. And so that you don't tear up, your eyes tear up. They say to keep your mouth open. And that kind of works. And I love the smell of these onions. So you want to just, take off all the skin, and like that. And then you're basically just going to chop away. There's no, I burned my finger on Christmas getting the stuff in and out of the oven. So that's healing pretty good. I have an aloe vera plant, and I put that on there. That really helps healing it and with the burn. So, okay, so you just cut these up anyway. Just chop them up because, again, they're going to cook down. And I like to cook them so that they're like caramelized. Like they have that brown look to them. And they're really delicious. And basically, throw them in a pan. And I just use water. So these are going to get all cut up. And put them in the bowl. I have a bowl here the onions, and they smell so good. So I'll get this other onion cut up, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, so now I got my onions cut up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook the green peppers in this pan, and I'm going to cook up the onions in this pan here and wait for them to caramelize. In the meantime, I'll put the green peppers here with some water, and I like to use bottled water. And another thing, if you guys have these kind of stoves with these pans inside, it's nice. My mom used to do this years ago when I was younger. Cover them aluminum foil, and when they get dirty, you just change them out. And it saves a lot of time. I don't know if I put this thing back in here. It's probably not going to sit good now. It's a little tilted. But anyway, so heat this up. Put the water in. And put your green peppers in. And if you got a few seeds in there, no big deal. So these are going to cook down. I usually cover them up to keep the steam in, and they cook a little quicker. So while those are cooking, then I'm going to put the onions in here, and I again use only a little bit of water and to cook those down. And we just, you know, now and then you want to keep checking your water and let those cook, and they'll be soft. And then these will be brown and nice and caramelized. So we'll wait until that happens, and I'll be back. So while these are cooking, I kind of put lids on them to retain, you know, the heat and keep the steam in there. And you keep checking it periodically and add more water. You don't want them to burn. I'm going to cook up the sausage. I use sweet Italian sausage. So just add your, I'm using, there's like 5 links in here. And I use Great Value. It's a little cheaper. I believe I got them at Walmart in the food section. Now, I prick the sausages. It allows the air and fat to be released. If you want more flavorful, sausage, don't prick it too much to retain more of the flavor. But I've always pricked my sausage. And you just use a knife. And again, I add my water. For cooking, I always use the bottled water. We live out in the woods, and the water here isn't that great, although we do use a water softener and a carbon filter. And at my sink to wash dishes, I use another filter. But as far as cooking, I always use bottled water. So I pricked my sausages, and I'll just wait for those to cook. Use a fork. Just keep, stirring it around. Watch that water. Again, you don't want, not a lot of water, but enough that, these won't burn. And they smell great. And I cover it up. And the peppers are cooking up here. And I just move them around. And I you know, you got to watch the temperature. I don't know, everyone has different stoves, but I keep it on like a 6 for right now. The onions, I could lower those to about a 6 because they're boiling a little too crazily. Um, but after a while, you'll see that they shrink down and they start to turn brown and they just smell delicious. I don't use a lot of salt. Once in a while, we use adobo. A lot of times I'll add garlic to my recipes, fresh garlic, but be nice if I turn the front on. So what I'm going to do is sorry guys, I'm going to get another lid and cover the sausages, and in a bit I will be back. Okay, so the green peppers are getting tender. I could just cut right through them. You could just use, you know, your spatula, what have you, and cut them in half. Watch the water level because you want them to steam well. You don't want, you know, this to cook and then you run out of water and then you end up, you know, burning your peppers. Let's check the onions. They're cooking down. I've already added a little more water. And basically you're just cooking them until they get browned. And then the sausage. I use different utensils for if I'm working with meat. This is a different fork. I use a different fork for the onions because I don't want to cross-contaminate. And as you can see, the sausages are cooking up. They smell really good. Put a lid on there again to get them to cook a little quicker. Now these I could turn down a bit. Add a little bit more water. The peppers are almost done. The onions. So again, you want to cook them down until they get, you know, brown. I've already turned my sausages and pricked them again, added a little more water. So basically what you're doing is, once everything's cooked, what I do is I drain the water out of the peppers, and then I add my onions to the peppers. And you don't have to, but you could use sauce. I like to use like roasted garlic and herb sauce, or if you make your own sauce, what have you. It's whatever, you know, taste you prefer in your sauces. Sometimes we don't add sauce at all. It's just delicious on a nice Italian bread or without bread. You don't have to make a sandwich. And then I cut up the sausages, and then I just mix it all together and then add your sauce. So basically what I'm doing is, once these are done, these get drained, the peppers, put the onions in with the peppers, and then cut up your sausages however you'd like. I just slice them in half. If you're going to put them in a hoagie or something, or a roll, then you want to slice them long ways. And then you just incorporate everything together. It's a quick and easy kind of recipe. Simple. And that's how it's going to be. So I want to thank you for joining me on my first little cooking segment. And I hope you enjoy it. See you next time. Manja. That means eat. Ciao.